Okay, I just want to first start off by saying I am a Gypsy Rose sympathizer, apologist, all the things. I am on the side of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, okay? Now, I love me a good trashy reality TV show. I love me 90 Day Fiance, 1,000 Pound Sisters. I love all that. I especially also love a good Love After Lockup, Love During Lockup. I watch those too. So it's no surprise that, of course, I'm watching the Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup show on Lifetime. So I just watched the first episode last night, and I just wanted to share my thoughts. So it starts out with us like meeting her family, or I guess they're all getting to the Airbnb that they're going to be staying in Kansas City. So they're all there, her dad, her stepmom, that she calls mom, her sister, and her new husband, Ryan? Is that his name? Already starting out, you can see like Gypsy has like a really good support system, which is awesome. Her dad, her stepmom, her sister, her husband, her attorney was even there. You just see like she has a good bunch of people in her corner, which is good. I definitely feel like Gypsy needs that, especially because her whole life we know what she's known. So it was definitely nice seeing all those people in the room, just wanting to be there for her, excited for her to get out that night / the early the next morning. So yeah, I could kind of tell that they were a little bit like towards her husband, like just kind of like, of course, getting to know him, because they didn't know him. They knew her ex fiance, Ken, I think that's his name, I think. But yeah, basically they were just like, oh, we'll just have to see where it goes. Obviously Gypsy's been in prison her whole entire life, so this is really going to be her first taste of freedom. And she's already married. She hasn't really gotten a chance to date around and whatnot. Like her dad was saying, like she's 30 years old, making decisions that 17, 18-year-olds would, which again is very understandable. I do love that her family has really more so been like super supportive of her in her decisions, not really like trying to be like, oh, no, that's not a good idea, you shouldn't do this. Or maybe they are saying that's not a good idea, but they're also like, but Gypsy's going to do what she wants to do. And I definitely appreciate that. Like, I imagine especially her stepmom, because she's really stepped into like that mothering role with Gypsy. So they're probably giving her like, yeah, and what we think, blah, blah, blah. But you're gonna do what you want to do. So I think she also needs that freedom too, to be able to make her own decisions right now. Again, in her 30-something years of living, she's never been able to make her own decisions. So we'll just go ahead and fast forward to, she's getting out. She's got out. Her shoes don't fit, whatever. She's got out. She sees her husband. I could already tell, like, when they not first met, because we know like he's been visiting her in the prison and whatnot. Like that, she probably still loves him, I assume. I don't know, but she probably loved him. He's done so much for her. He was there for her while she was in prison, all that jazz. So I think she was really like in her head, like she was like, yeah, this is gonna work. It's me and him. This is gonna work. But then I think like the actual, like seeing like their actual first interactions with her being free, I don't know, it was just very much so like he was just like giving compliments, like, oh, you're so sexy, oh, you're this, you're that, which I'm not gonna lie, I was getting kind of uncomfortable, because I was like, and she was just kind of like, oh, thank you. Oh, you haven't seen me in a while. Like she was just doing it was never oh, you're so handsome, babe, oh. But again, I think Gypsy was just like, he's loving on me, so I'm gonna love on him back. So like they're driving to the Airbnb that the rest of the family is at. They already stayed overnight in the hotel. They made sure to let us know they consummated their marriage. We do not care. None of us needed that visual. I promise you, we were okay. But yeah, so they're driving. They went and stopped to get her some new shoes. Of course, there was people out there like, oh my God, hey Gypsy, So after that, they just like got in their mind that they were being followed, which, very much so. Maybe they were, because the media is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So maybe they were following them. But What I really didn't like is the husband, Ryan. You see, this girl has, her whole entire life has known nothing but anxiety, being afraid of something to be afraid of. So I understand, like, on one hand, he's, like, probably on high alert because he's like, oh my gosh, you know, these people are following us, blah, 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 blah. But also at the same time, you know what your wife has been through. So I feel like he definitely should have tried to dial it back a little bit, because it was just like, and I don't know if it was the editing. It could have been the editing. But he was just, like, driving like, oh, yeah, they're coming after us right now. I see 16 cars. Oh my God, what are we good? Like, it was given that. Do you think Gypsy needed that at that moment? And then, of course, he's driving, I guess he's driving reckless. And she's like, drive safe. My dad just said, you know, when we get there, just pull straight into the... But he's still like, oh, here they come. They're sending the spaceship. And I think, like, he partially wanted to be, like, you know, nervous, but also, like, I'm protecting my girl, so, you know, I'm gonna do whatever. But also at the same time, protect her emotions, protect her feelings, protect her anxiety. Like, you could have been driving and been like, in your head, I see them, they're coming, oh my God, they're right behind us. But to Gypsy, like, oh, I don't see a thing, I think we'll be fine, I'll just get us safely to your dad's. How are you doing, babe? You know, how does it feel to be out? He could have been doing that, but he was just like, and again, I don't know if it was the editing, but that was something that really had me like, I just didn't like it. But you know, it is what it is. So then, like, he was making like a few comments like, oh, and this was before, so I'm jumping ahead. He was like, oh, you know how many people wanted the honor to be able to pick her up, you know, when she gets out, they wanted, and it's me. On one hand, I'm like, oh, he's probably like, yeah, she loves me, she wants to be with me, she picked me to have this prestigious honor of being able to pick her up when she's getting out, you know. But also at the same time, it also kind of felt a little bit like, you know, the media frenzy around this girl, like y'all said in the beginning of the episode, and it was like, oh, you were fangirling over her and whatnot. That's what it's given. So it's like the fact that you're like, oh, and it's me, she picked me to pick her up. Like, I guess on one hand, it's like, oh, that's sweet. She wants me to be the first person she sees when she's free and blah, 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 blah. But it was also kind of like, haha, these other dudes wanted this, and it's me. And he probably especially knew about her ex, Ken. So he was even more so like, Ken, thought it was going to be you. It's me. Gypsy wanted me to pick her up, so I'm going to pick her up. I'm going to pick her up from the prison right now because we're in love and we're married and you've lost. That's kind of what it gave to me. But again, this was just the first episode. I realized I almost forgot. What part was it? When they were in the hotel room, her and her husband. This is not funny, but it was just like, and he was like, the sleep apnea machine. He was like, oh yeah, I'm not like your mom. I was watching that, I was like, why would you say that? Like, why would you say that? This girl has been out of prison for a whopping 10 minutes. And you've already, like, I understand you're her husband, you know, stuff's happened, you know, you gotta move on. You want to joke about that, but why would you say that? And it just low-key, it got silent, like, it's not funny, but dude, I'm sure Gypsy has spoken, like, actually, she's married you, so I'm sure she's told you, like, her, I don't want to say full-blown innermost feelings, but she's probably definitely told you, like, how she's felt. At some point, there's going to be a little bit about a dream she had and whatnot, and how, like, she can't get, like, certain things her mom has said on that night out of her head and stuff. So I understand, you know, like she said, she wants to focus on the good and she's had with her mom and stuff. So, you know, I'm sure she, you know, would want to joke about things a little bit. She just got out of prison 10 minutes ago. And you're already like, yeah, sleep apnea machine. I'm not your mom. Dude, he was trying so hard. I could tell the whole episode. He was trying so hard to be, like, cool, calm, and collected. Like, give this, like, cool, suave, like, yeah. Ryan, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to come for you. It's just, like, it was funny. It was fun. What was happening was, like, not funny, but it was. It was, like, that awkward funny. Again, I don't know if it's because I'm low-key biased. Not biased, but we already know what's going on now, you know? We already know what's happening, so I'm just like, I don't know if it's me, and also Lifetime doing a good job of like, we gonna show y'all how this progressed or whatever. But yeah, I was just like, the justice system is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I definitely don't think it was fully just the fact that because Gypsy is who she is, that's why they were like, oh no. The Missouri parole officer was like, oh no, you need to go straight to Louisiana. But I do think they probably are being a little extra with her, knowing who she is, of course. On one hand, I was like, this is literally how, you know, I've seen Jersey, stop, move. So while I do think some stuff they probably were being a little dramatic, like the whole, oh, you need to hurry, you need to go directly to Louisiana, do not pass go, do not collect $200, you need to go straight there right now. I get that on one hand because they're like, you know, we're your parole officers for now until you go check in over there. So it makes sense that they're like, you need to immediately go there so we can, you know, wipe our hands of you and be done. But they weren't. And it's communication, okay? Communication. Why was he like, you need to go to Louisiana and directly report, all that jazz? But the Louisiana people are like, well, we're not going to be open until the 3rd, so you're just going to be sitting here collecting dust anyway. Did the Louisiana parole officer not call the Missouri parole officer to be like, hey, this is what's going on? I gave Gypsy the okay. She's reported to me via phone. It's in my hands now. It's in my hands. If anything happens, it's in my hands. I don't understand why they didn't do that, but whatever. It really broke my heart when she was like, what? She was crying to her stepmom, and she was like, what if they send me back? And I was like, Gypsy, they're not gonna send you back, and if they do, we're gonna riot at dawn, okay? But also, when her dad and like stepmom, and so when they were all talking, of course, Gypsy, you know, she's getting out, and like the first thing she wants to do is go to this, like it's in the media. And that's how her parole officer even got the call and whatnot. But, like, it's in the media that Gypsy wants to go to this Kansas City Chiefs game and meet Taylor Swift and blah, blah, blah. I remember when I first heard that, and I was like, girl, you just got out of prison. Like, why is that the first thing on your mind? I'd be trying to, like, get assimilated to... How long has she been in prison? Like 10 years? Like, stuff has changed in 10 years. So I'd have been focused on getting assimilated to that. Like, that's what I was thinking. But then, like, watching the episode, her dad was like, you know, he hates that she's, you know, that this is the first thing on her mind, that's what she's doing, but that's what she's been conditioned to do her whole entire life. Like, she's always been conditioned to use her situation to do the things that she wants to do, or meet the famous people that she wants to meet. Like, it's all she knows. So of course, you know, her first thing she wants to do is like, oh, well, I'm gonna go to this football game and meet Taylor Swift. So, like, I understood, it brought me back a little bit, like, really, Gypsy's a child, basically. Like, age-wise, of course, physically, of course, she's not. But, like, in her mind, just a little bit, even though she definitely has no problem standing up for herself, which I love. Even, like, seeing the previews for, like, the next episodes. She's starting from scratch, basically. She's basically, like... This is her leaving the nest, her turning 18 and being able to make big girl decisions herself. Like, this is finally happening for her. I'm just excited to see where this show goes, where this season goes. Lifetime, low-key, kind of did they big one with this because everyone is kind of intrigued by Gypsy Rose. Even if you're, like, on the side of, oh my God, she K.I. double hockey sticked her mom. So, you know, she should be in prison forever. You're still intrigued. You still want to know what's going to happen next. I'm going to root for Gypsy to live her best life. So, girl, I see you about to kick your husband to the curb and get with your old boo. City Girls up 1,000 points, especially summer done started. This is how you kick off summer, Gypsy. Yes. But yeah, I already can't wait for the next episode. I think it comes on Mondays at 9 on Lifetime. So... Lifetime, you got a new viewer because I'm about to be in it every week.